We keep the 7 high. We keep the 7 high. Allah's my protector and my guide, and my salvation by the day and by the night.
And when you read that, what does that mean?
Congress ain't assembled right now.
That means that the national government enacted that. That means it's actually positive law. That any declaration, instruction, order, or decision of any officer of the government which denies, restricts, impairs, or questions.
All right.
Y'all sleep. Y'all sleep. Y'all sleep. They just committed a federal crime by questioning your right. Come on, it says.
Question.
Ignore the rest of it. And damn it, you don't even open your mouth to question. Now we got a judge just question. What you think I'm finna do to him?
Spank, spank, and super spank.
No, I ain't spanking. I'm getting nasty with it. I'm putting some channel locks under his jewels. Uh-oh. Y'all see how my man did, Cat Williams did my man when he told him I'm a man, I'm a boy, Damien. I'm a boy, Damien what? Okay, all right. Damien bowed down, he got him straight. Put a little pressure on him, that's all it takes. You don't have the right to question my action. And the fact that you question my action, you violated your oath. That's a breach. You cannot question my right. That one on y'all head. You can't question it. We're not going to have this conversation, man. You're about to hurt yourself. Any officer of this government which denies, restricts, impairs, or questions the right of expatriation is hereby declared inconsistent with the fundamental principles of this government. The United States statute at large. This is the law of the land next to the Constitution. No government agent can argue statute at large. I got a shitload of cases on the statute at large. It is the only positive law. Federal codes are not positive law. Federal codes cannot go against statutes at large. Governments cannot render decisions against the statutes at large. No, sir, they cannot. And in the statutes at large, banks can't lend no money.
And the rules, they can't lend any money. The code.
Like I said, if you come at them for Warren Joe, I doubt if they show up. And y'all slept this because, like I said, there's a process that was created here for you guys. Pieces to a powerful puzzle that helps you recognize the supreme authority. That's the person I put this on for.
Oh, the Hebrew
He
Israelite?
finally showed up. Because I knew one of the responses would be one of that I spoke of. Either you're going to recognize it as one thing or you're going to see it as something.
So we two of them left in the country.
Greetings, good brother.
What's up?
You're awfully late.
Yeah.
That's not like you.
No, I had to.
Understand? A puzzle with all of the pieces to give you the necessary clarity to understand the supreme authority, which is you. Say that again.
Me.
Okay. I mean, I'm fine when you say me, but that's cool. the supreme authority, the king. The king. Me and Hep was having a conversation about changing the term from sovereign to king. Because with the term sovereign, you still ain't been getting it. And I'm like, well, Hep, you know what? It makes perfect sense. We got a few cases up there on the rights of the king. Because who issues writs?
The king.
The
From
queen.
what court? The
Queen
king's
or the
court.
king?
The king's court. So anybody simply attempts to oppose the king can't be nothing but a jester. And that's a damn clown. And you have to let it go because it's all psychological. But that's what we're dealing with metaphysics. So now you got to make a choice. You're going to stay stuck on stupid or you're going to deal with the metaphysics. Changing your mind is definitely metaphysical. Or is it tangible? Is the mind tangible?
No, it's not.
Okay. Just curious. Some of us ain't getting it. Omari, I use my semantics for a reason. Yes, sir.
Do you think you or your staff will provide some type of volume of what you've done so far? Because I think a lot of it, a lot of the fear and trepidation is because we don't have anything supplemental within each other outside of the classroom to really hone our skills, be it a mock trial or be it a study group, to reiterate.
Well, hold up, back up right there.
He asked you to do that plenty of times, get a study group.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
huh?
He ain't been in that long. Yeah, he asked people to get a study group.
I've asked for study groups. I've been coming in Chi-Town for 6 years.
Yeah.
4. No, 6.
6 years, been a while.
I've been
6.
begging for study groups. Me and this brother connect.
6.
Left and right.
6. Vaughn and Sid and them used to bring me up. We used to have classes over in a couple of hotels. Because they got tired of driving down to Detroit, so they found it easier to bring me up.
Okay.
Before classes over, I had, along with what he's saying, I had another idea that I came up with. I would like to present it to everybody.
But yes, I've been asking for study groups from day one.
That's mandatory.
Study groups and going to the law library. But we make time for what we want to do. 'Cause I told y'all, that joker was in the basket. And I couldn't wait. 4 months, I started hauling his ass to the library. Sitting him right there while I'm doing my research. Then it got to a point where he wasn't in the basket, he was walking. And I'm still at the library doing my research. And I'm trying to entertain him. And what I noticed is a lot of times he would begin to mimic me. So I'm like, oh, this is cool. He in the chair, leaning on the table, and he's scribbling on paper because he see me reading and writing. And then he noticed that I'm looking at the book and then writing. So now he wanted a book. And all he do is this and scribble, because that's what he see me doing, looking in the book and scribbling. But it took a whole lot of hours, because to me wasn't nothing else important. Not that there was nothing else important, but my interaction with the quote-unquote government, with the internal revenue, brought me to a realization. I thought I knew something. And my realization was, without knowing the law that runs all this shit, I don't know a damn thing. Because I didn't know how to protect my ass or my assets. And all I could remember saying was, I told the Internal Revenue sister who came to audit me, this shit will never happen again. I promise you that. Sister by the name of, her last name was Jackson. I was doing my import-export. I was enjoying life. I really was. Because I was in and out of the country. Mama said, damn, you can't keep your ass still. Where you at now? Molly. Got a hookup in Molly. Gold dust. Spending $50 and almost getting 5 G's. And what you boys told me, dude, leave that alone. Just get your leather, take it back to Senegal, let them make all your stuff. You'll be a millionaire in a couple of years. Dude, I'm looking at 6 months. I keep this shit up. But they already knew the game. They was just, one of the brothers who was trying to talk to me, you know, I was stuck. But it all the tumblers set. And I was like, you know, you get a revelation. He was trying to tell me that they were, you know, this was gonna happen. And then I kept running back to this other, the Jew who I was getting my leather from, to make my garments. He was giving me a lot of insight. He was like, son, I'd like to take you under my wing. You're smart, dude. Let me show you something, yada, yada, yada. Leave that gold and stuff alone. Take your time. Get your leather here. Take it back to Senegal. They got the best sewers in the world. Let them make your garments, all of your leather products. And in a couple of years, you'll be a millionaire. Don't rush it. Man, I'm looking at 6 months. If I keep flipping this shit here, and boom, came in, man got me filling out a shitload of paperwork. Dude, what is this about? Well, I got to protect myself. They come at me, I ain't coming at you. You ain't paying no fucking taxes. Their job is to protect his interests. That's what I learned. Customs' job is to protect their interests because they have claimed the planet with a text, with a Bible. All you have to do is look at where these codes come from. Look at who's regulating everything, whose signature is on everything you pretty much own. Between them and the Vatican, they done cut a serious deal, religiously. And customs' job is to protect the interests of these Jews who control all the gold mines, all the diamond mines, all the platinum mines. They got me filling out a stack of papers that thick to bring my African rock python jackets back over here. But when I went to New York Garment District, all of these gator, guana, and all this stuff that's on the endangered species list, from the floor to the ceiling is 30 feet. And you best believe it's stacked to the ceiling in rows. Something wrong. Y'all telling me this shit is on the endangered species list, and there got to be 10,000 pythons sitting up in this man's warehouse. Skins. I'm talking about 30-foot ceiling, floor to the ceiling, rows of finished python, guana, and gator. But I gotta fill out a shitload. I guess I do. Because they had it on lockdown. They create these entities to protect their interests. Because if you got the black folks over there who live around the diamond mines and kick diamonds as rocks, and can kick the sand and have a handful of gold dust, and we go over there and get jiggy with them brothers and do some little commerce, guess who's gonna run it? And they gotta make sure that never happens.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all check out that, they did a book in DVD, Black Man Land, White Man Country. Or vice versa.
What's the name of it?
It was a manual and a DVD, a movie they did in Kenya. And it was called Black Man's Land, White Man's Country. I mean, it just shows you their colonial process and how they came and moved everybody and took the resources. When I came back from Mali, they had from West Africa, they had a big news article, Gold Rush and Poorest Country in the World. That was Mali at the time. They had a war for 6 years. All of a sudden you got this Christian group pops up out of nowhere and supposedly fighting against these Muslims, moved them almost 10 miles away from their land through the midst of this fighting, and now the United Nations and all them come in to bring peace. And guess what? Who now owns their homeland? One of the biggest gold mines in South Africa now own the gold mines in Mali, which is where these brothers used to live. Yes, sir. Because when they send the so-called CIA in as the, what do they call themselves? The, what's that organization that goes around helping everybody?
Oh, the Peace Corps?
Peace Corps. Peace Corps. That's a CIA op. They send the kids in to learn the language, to learn the culture, everything. They speak the language better than the people themselves. And then they bring them back and tell them, we want you to represent us. pay them agents. And they keep them there because they're looking for the resources to come in and control. But that was part of my education and my understanding that without knowing the law, I ain't got a chance. I can forget about my desire to be wealthy. And that was my initiation. And I found it interesting that a lot of people got started the same way I got started. One of the brothers I met, one of the baddest constitutional heads, was in Lansing, Michigan, a doctor, a black surgeon. And I was blown away. We tried hard to get him in Detroit. We used to drive up to Lansing. That's like an hour, 40 minutes from Detroit. But we could barely catch up with the brother because the Caucasians kept him. They kept him on lockdown. Every time you looked up, they was coming to get him or sending him a ticket to come and educate them. And it's been that way. If you know some of the baddest heads out here, so-called constitutional heads, they're pretty much Moors, even though they don't know they're Moors. The brother Jack Jackarana, he's a Moor. All day long. And they know who understands this stuff, because hell, we created it. But now we in the coma. And I just wonder how many of y'all have put this in a brief? Hell, how many of y'all have actually read it in the book? You read it? That was put in your status. We put all that stuff in there. We even put a format on how to argue status. I told you this. Yes, sir. We put together from A to Z everything that I could think of to help us evolve to coming back into our status. Everything. When Drew said, you must return to the constitutional folks, that was my mission. But in returning, it's an evolution, because the first piece I got to get you to understand is you ain't a U.S. citizen. And that shit right there was hard. And then getting you to understand the power and the authority in the Constitution, how you need to master that. Know that better than you know your name. Because you can't exercise no concept. I mean, when you talk about oxymoron, we put that shit on our forehead. I'm a solving more. Huh? I said I'm a solving more. His ass in the car. Cuff him and put him in the car. Because they laugh. They laugh. They laugh because they know we're buffoons. We act like children, which means that's why they label us children. We're minors. You gonna talk about your status, and you ain't got the first clue on how to even implement your status, how to give a declaration, how to stand on the very laws that protects that. Well, man, you know the Constitution ain't everything. Okay. I agree with whatever you say. I'm not here to argue your belief. You got a right to it. Yes, ma'am.
You were about to explain your structure earlier, and you said constitution, and then process, and status. So in terms of your books, is that what your...
Constitution. I have a marker over here. We bring any other markers up?
Better get on staff, man.
Come on up, join us. Me and
I got this one.
the staff is here. Come on, staff.
Staff. Where am I staff?
We gotta get your shit to staff over.
Tomorrow.
Ooh, wait, you said that with authority. Let's pop up.
I got snatched up, kidnapped.
Are you answering the question when you finna run down a brief or a process? What you finna do?
I got snatched up, kidnapped. Car got towed, kidnapped. Now, second time this has happened. Now,
One question right quick. Did you follow the restraining order?
No.
Why not?
I was unaware of it.
No, we covered that way
I'm
back.
not aware. May I
I was
finish?
unaware of it.
May I finish? It's the
Listen, I want to say, because maybe we need to do this in private, because I don't want to disrespect any of the class by mixing private. I don't know, but I'm just saying. It seems like we're going to open up and walk through a process that everybody else may not be willing to accept with the time that they
For that
take.
edification that we have.
It could be, it could not be. You can't make that determination. Should I give the floor, yes or no? I'll let the class make the decision.
Sure, we're willing to learn, yeah, give him a break.
Yays?
Yes.
Give the man a break.
This is not a democratic republic, we have a
Them
republic.
damn boys over there.
So my yay or my nay, you have to respect. This is not democracy.
Because we want to know, we get put in that same position,
Right,
what
you
can
get
we
put in
do?
the same position.
What should I do?
Yeah, this is closer to home to what we may run into.
Yeah.
And this is the second
Proceed.
time I have been pulled over. My car told me, ticketed.
Morris Place?
Morris plates were on my car the first time. I've been intimidated not to put my Morris plates on because of what happened the second time. They pulled me over, kidnapped me, towed my car. The first process, I'm at the default stage right now with 3 officers. However, when they ran my plates, the Illinois plates, they found out that I had a suspended driver's license. I had rescinded my driver's license 2 years prior to even being stopped. However, the Secretary of State had me down for suspended driver's license.
Were they suspended?
No, because I had rescinded them before, you know, they were still good. Now, in between time, I'm still paying off money to get my car, okay? The second time.
You paying money?
Yeah, well, I paid them to get my car out. Now, they say you owe.
Stop right there. Did we not have a discussion about a replebbing process? Did we not talk about what we requested the young lady in California do to go get her car?
Uh-huh, and replumbing again in the city of Chicago, you have to formally request from Dorothy Brown to get a court order.
Hold on.
Come to court.
Hold on.
For a replumbing.
Hold on. So you're telling me you have to ask permission?
According to their statutes.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna stop you right there. We're not gonna proceed. We'll do this in private. Because we just missed something right there. We just missed something.
But you know, he's talking about something that we all could face.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and I want to know.
He's talking about, hold, stop right there. Stop right there. Because we have covered this process more than 10 times. And I'm not going to accept the fact that you refuse to study. The very process, yes, my tone is going up because this is anxiety right now.
Question.
No, answer. You're not sovereign. Let it go. I keep telling you, you telling me about people telling you what you cannot do, and I just read. No one can tell you. The process is non-judicial. No, I'm not.
How does that get my funds back from getting my car out?
First of all, if you choose to pay for your car again, that is your option. We have walked through this entire process. All of the codes is in that manual. Self-help. You don't need whoever she is. You take your process to the marshal. You give them the description of the property. You give them the replacement, and you pay the fee to go request your property. We covered this, man, over and over and over. If you guys don't choose to read, I'm not going to let you aggravate me anymore. Ain't no excuses. And if you come in here and tell me somebody said you can't, don't talk to me anymore. There's no excuses. If you ain't gonna pick that book up and read it, that is your option. There are no excuses at this point, and I ain't accepting anymore. Give me that manual on the end. Somebody tell Tell me what extraordinary writ is. Outside. Do we not have non-judicial in this manual? Do we not have repossession in this manual? Is it not without the court? I just said, don't confuse statutory with common law. Don't give them the authority that they don't have. Didn't I just say that? Maybe 40 minutes ago? And you turn right around and say, she said I can't. Okay, fine. I'm not dealing with it. I'm going to tell you like I told my son. It is your choice. And if you make the choice, you're going to stand on it. You have made the choice. Who is the authority? You have. You have made the choice. Because you just said somebody told you what you can't do. And the law says totally different. Statutory ain't law. She ain't law. She ain't government. She's a corporation. And if you let a corporation tell you what you can do, that is okay. I'm going to accept that. But I am not going to accept your issues when your issues are the result of you not studying. And that's all it is. Y'all have heard me repeat. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I started this stuff in 1996, and I ain't stopped yet. Ain't no ending here. And if you got time to do everything but sit down and read or go to the library to protect your behind, that is your right. But your right ain't my problem. I ain't accepting it. You got to draw a line sometime, and I'm drawing it right here, right now. If you choose not to do the homework, then damn it, don't expect to pass the class. You can't. Don't come here crying about you got a D, because you decided to hang out with the fellows, hit some 40s or whatever. Because doing the homework wasn't required at the time. It wasn't important enough. And this is us 24/7. The easiest thing it is to do is to make an excuse. And if you catch me making one, smack me upside my head. I'm giving you that permission. Yes. Now, if I got an actual situation, don't hit me, because I'm going to knock you out. If it was something beyond my control, don't hit me. But there's no excuses, y'all. Because you ain't picking up the book and reading it. The whole process is in the book. We covered that particular issue. She did the same thing. She went and took it to the judge. I said, I didn't tell you to take it to the judge. You fill out the form, you take it to the marshal. You pay the fee and have them pick up your property. That's their job. But if you choose to stay in that statutory position, if you choose to be a 14th Amendment citizen, don't make me responsible for it. Your choice. I ain't having it. I drew a line with him, I'm drawing a line with everybody. It's in the book. We covered it. We covered it. If we hadn't covered it, I would not be going through this. I would not be saying what I'm saying. But we did. And no attempts have been made to read. Have you read that book, good brother?
Now I know what to do.
Well, how come you didn't know before? I had to yell at you.
Yep.
Oh, okay. But do we not have that process in the book?
The actual problem is in the book.
And the process is what? Extraordinary writ is what? It's non-judicial. They cannot tell you. They can if you let them. They can if you let them. Who is the king?
I'm the king, however.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You just said, I'm the king, however. That means but.
Finance.
That means the exact finances. Sit down. Sit down. If you sit down, I'll calm down. Sit down.
No, I don't want you to calm down.
Okay. We going outside in a minute. I gotta get it all out there. Listen, I'm gonna say it again. Hold on, huh?
As long as I set up, you'll
No, I'm gonna calm down, because I'm tired. You gonna have me falling out there, and I don't want nobody to give me no mouth to mouth. I don't know where y'all live. Here, common law manual, administrative process, your status. That's what the sister asked for. I'm sorry. I really got sidetracked. Please excuse me and my behavior, my loud tone. I didn't mean to insult anyone. But this is family over here. Common law manual, administrative process. And your status as a U.S. citizen. Mm-hmm. And the one after that, and the one after that.
It breaks it down in the book.
What's after that?
Foreign government, the end game?
No.
I wouldn't pay anything.
Choice of law?
Oh, yeah.
Choice of law and special appearance.
Oh, you're reading the book.
Yeah, that's all I said. I want all
Okay.
the books. Choice of law and special appearance are actually the same manual. And then the end game.
What about the UCC book? Should that be recommended as well?
UCC book. I ain't did no UCC book. Let's go.
Administrative procedure.
I got all this adrenaline pumping in me now. I need to get it out. Let's go.
Did a UCC book.
I did a UCC book?
Yes.
I didn't do a UCC book. We did. No, I didn't do that.
You had.
That's not. That is not. I didn't produce that.
Okay. Okay.
That's added information. I didn't produce that. We're dealing with what I produced.
All right.
What I put together and the purpose of it. Stay on point with me, good brother. The common law manual dealing with the Constitution. What is the Constitution? What is the Constitution? What is the purpose of the Constitution?
Take my rights I was born with, my inheritance rights.
Unalienable rights.
What is the purpose of the Constitution?
Guidelines.
For whom?
The United States government.
For the corporation and
For the
for
purpose of what?
and for the sovereigns.
The Constitution was
It's
established
established.
for the purpose of preventing what?
Government's going out of control, getting out of control.
From basically interfering with the property rights of the people. The sole purpose of the Constitution was not to protect your rights. It's a book. It can't protect your rights. The purpose of it was to give government its restrictions, its limitations as it relates to what? To your rights. Because your rights are unlimited as long as they don't infringe and impose the rights of another being. And these laws was laid down to restrict government from infringing upon the rights of we the people. Understand its purpose. Because it is through the understanding of the purpose of the Constitution, which was how you learn to do what? You said it earlier. I want to lock it in, that's why I keep coming at you. The purpose of the Constitution was to limit government and its interfering with your rights. Now, to protect your sovereign status, how is it done? Through what? Through exercising your rights through the organs of the Constitution. The Constitution don't give you rights. It informs the government and gives them notice of your rights and their inability to interfere with your rights. And it is the contract that binds them when they breach or interfere or harm you. It is the contract that guarantees you a remedy from what? Did you guys look at the handout I passed out dealing with the state torts? See, they like to tell you that they have immunity and all that nonsense. There ain't no such thing as immunity. Oh, I didn't keep myself a copy. Y'all have a copy of the state court, the state torts? A state constitutional tort is fundamental to the rule of law. Fundamental, it's the foundation. You have a right anytime you have been injured. That is called a tort. And your right to remedy is just that, a right. It is a right. But it is only a right if you what? Exercise. 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 I can stand here and say all day, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, but if my happy ass don't exercise,
Stop eating. Stop eating.
that's a part of it. But even to stop eating is an exercise. I'm exercising my ability to eat less. But I have to exercise if I want the actual results. I can wish all damn day. But the book says prayer without work is dead. And you can wish all day that your happy behind is solved. But that's not going to get it. You ain't getting there. You'll be forever wishing. You're going to mess around, man, turn that camera around, and look up. While you laying there wishing, you're going to find yourself in a nightmare. Because you wish it. You're not exercising. You're not exercising. I got understanding by way of studying. But it was my desire to never let anyone ever harm me again by me being ignorant of the law. And when I studied, I was overwhelmed with glee that to know that I am the law. I looked for the validation and I found it. I am the law. This ain't the law. I mean, I read it to y'all, that Southwestern Reporter. What did it say about the law and the authority?
To the people. It's with the people.
Government can't give you no rights. You came here with them. They can mention them. In Article 9 of the Constitution, what does it say about your rights? Even those that are not mentioned are still reserved. Because my rights are unlimited. I can't even tell you. Because I'm still figuring out, I'm still finding new rights. Every day I wake up, wow, I didn't know I had that. I'm glad to know it. But I ain't got nothing coming if I don't exercise it. Ain't no pill, y'all. That shit was that was a movie. It was a movie. They might have a pill, but they ain't gonna give it to us. They ain't finna give you no pill that's gonna give you instant knowledge. Peace and love, you guys. They might give you one that dumb you down. They got a bunch of them. They give them to our babies every day to shut down their brain cells. In that common law manual, we dealt with the state and federal constitution to get you to understand the principles of that instrument and the power that it has. That it has for you when you what? Exercise it. Man, please show me in the Constitution where I have to ask you permission to issue a writ. Please show me in the Constitution you have that authority. It's called extrajudicial. That means outside of your authority. You have no power here. going over that definition. Outside, without, non-judicial. Outside, without, non-judicial. You gonna come here and tell me she said you can't? I need to have some bricks sitting up in here.
No, don't hit him with a brick.
Maybe some rubber bricks. Just to make you think and do a little homework. I want that brother throwing a brick at me. Let me do some homework before I go in there asking anything. I mean, what is it gonna take?
Let me insert something with this.
Please, Mike, go
Okay.
right ahead, because I need to
Because I know what you're saying, but what you're saying is the denial of who you are.
Bingo.
The truth of the matter is that you get frustrated when they cause you injury.
Financial injury.
Injury, period. If they hit you in the head with a billy club, you'd be upset. What do you expect the fiction to do if you have the power and they don't? How can they exist? By faking it and bullying. So when you get bullied, you say, they won't let me. But when you get bullied, you lose your kingship. I'm not saying you're not going to get bullied, but you can't change your mind about who you are. You gotta expect them to keep doing it. Because if all of us wake up, they go away. Stop thinking that the bulldog is not going to try to bite you. That's their job. He's got to make you believe you don't have any other choice. So if you decide to put the plates on your car, expect to get bullied. And you're going to keep bullying until what happens? You got to find a remedy. So the very point is, don't change your mind about, I'm not a sovereign man. I got your email. You follow? And your email told me you still don't believe you're sovereign. Go ahead.
My email should have told you that I owe $1,100.
That's
Folks say I owe them about the ticket.
you're Rodney King laying on the road after they jumped on you. You follow? They jumped on you. Except you're different for Rodney King. Rodney King feels that he is a citizen of the United States.
No, I'm not.
But you know you're not. But you keep changing your mind when you get hit by the billy club. And therefore you never get to your remedy.
My remedies are in. I have a default.
No, they're not. They're not in yet. But you didn't have a decision. You know, we said some time ago that there is an alternative when they take your car. Until you find the alternative, you just have to wait until the process goes through. But in your mind, you say in the email, I'm not a sovereign. And if you say that, you done lost. It's a mind game. It is not what they're doing to you. I would not put my plates on until you got that settled. You see what I mean? You haven't settled in your own mind, what am I going to do when they stop me? Because it's a red flag saying, I'm sovereign, and you people out there better wake up. And what is the fiction going to do?
But until he puts his plates on, he ain't gonna experience the process. So
I'm not saying he shouldn't put them on. I'm saying when you put them on, put them on as a sovereign man, not a man that's going to give up when they try to stop him.
Every time he stops me, it causes me a financial hardship.
I got it. So you were not ready to put them on, not because of the finances,
Did you
but because
think that was not going to happen? Did you, hold on. Just go back to some of the references, because do you remember how many times I've gone through this process? How many times I've butt heads? How many years? How many? Think about it.
You have the same problem. You have the same problem.
Let me
I have
say
went
this.
to Chicago all the way to Georgia, in place. Nothing happened.
got you.
Hold on. I drove through Canada and nothing happened. But that don't mean something ain't gonna happen.
It's just one district, why have to work at?
Yeah.
These European officers are on me like white on right.
But hold on. Did you think they were not going to be? You obviously created. Listen, some of you been there, done that. Oh, they ain't gonna mess with me. They gonna recognize this. They ain't got to. It's what you gonna recognize. Again, what you're doing right now is that Title 42, Section 141 a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's in there. Okay. Where you at right now?
Right now, I'm the default on the first case, and the notice on the second.
Well, you should be way past default. You should be looking to collect. There should be a writ issued right now. There should be a writ of collection at this point. Because there's been a period of time. There should be a writ of collection right now. A writ of execution to go and collect. We should be looking for assets at this point. We should be sinning. Because remember, everybody got a bond. Once you file that judgment, you put it in the Secretary of State, you're registered in the county, now you're going to collect. Now you're going to, because all the codes is in your book for the process. Remember I told you last class, even if the sheriff don't do it, he's in contempt of court. Because when you notice him, you're putting him back into his common law venue. You're making him put on his common law hat. Or you go and have to file it with the marshal. But lock your process down and have it stop half-stepping. Because I get tired of brothers saying, well, man, I did this process, and then when I see the process, it ain't a process. It's a process for disaster. It's a process for disaster. Because you say you are this particular individual. You say this is who you are. And I'm like, okay, well, where's your public notice? Where's the public notice filed with that judge to let him know you outside of this jurisdiction? Brother, I ain't got that. I didn't. What are you talking about? Your expatriation of that document declaration as far as your status. Did you not file that in the court as Exhibit A and Exhibit B? No, man, I didn't do that. I did something else. Okay, I'm done. You don't need to talk any further because it's a waste of time. If you doing something that ain't got nothing to do with what's been laid out. I'll give you instructions to tell you, go 5 miles up State Street. After that, make a left, go 3 miles. And I'm telling you where you're going and what you're going to pass. You know what? I know a shortcut. Boom. So what did you do? Oh, brother, I filed this and I filed the bond and okay. I'm done. I'm done. Because that's what we do. We say we do a process, and we're so good at creating our confusion. Because it's just like when I fussed at you about, you know, that terminology somebody said about put this on there. You ain't the only one that done that. And I said to myself, well, at this point, what am I to do? Nothing, because it ain't on me. Because if I tell you it's here, and you go somewhere else, that's what? That's your choice. And only thing I can do at that point is honor your choice. Because you're making the choices. If they're doing what they're doing and you saying they can't, then you've just given them that authority. And I don't have a right to yell and fuss at you. I do apologize. Because I got to recognize it's your choice. Even though I get angry and frustrated, because I don't want you being hard. There's a reason I'm doing this. And it's only one. It's out of the love that I have for me and I can't explain it no other way. Because this shit ain't fun. It ain't enjoyable. It ain't monetary.
You almost quit last 6 months ago. Because of him.
It ain't but one thing, because I get tired. I've been tired of seeing me and mine kicked in the ass 24/7. But you know what? I had to say, dude, wait a minute. We have a right. This is our choice to be. If I've been over and let you kick me, guess what? That's your right. And I recognize my violation of the law. I've been violating the law. Like I want my young brother to stay out of trouble. But that's his choice. If he wants to be out in the street selling pharmaceuticals, that's his choice. If my son chooses to eat swine, I ain't got no right putting no belt on him. Because I'm breaking the law. I don't have no right to make you submit to my will. Because now I become the criminal. And that's the greatest realization that I've recently come into, is to accept. Because you know what? Acceptance is powerful. It'll save your life. Because you will kill your fucking self wishing and hoping and trying to make somebody change when they don't want to change. So this class is about an acceptance. It's about a consent. I consented to share this information. You consent to receive it. We have an agreement. And however you choose to receive it, I still have to accept it. If I put it down and say you de jure and you say I'm de facto, I should shut up and leave it alone. And accept that that's your choice. I don't have a right to make you see it my way. And I ain't right all the time. Maybe you do see a shortcut. But then I get caught up because it's concern. Mama, you gotta stop doing that. It's my love that won't let me just walk away and leave it alone. So it's like a rock in a hard spot. And it's the same scenario here. It's the love. I'm gonna yell at you all day long, gonna cuss you out. But I ain't gonna stop loving you. Okay? Now that I'm who and what I'm supposed to be striving to be. Because we hurting in so many ways. And I can only tell you what I have recognized to be the greatest evil that I have witnessed on this planet. And it is one thing. I can only describe it in one word. Ignorance. Ignorance is the greatest evil that has ever been laid upon man. Because most of the whack crap that's going on is done out of ignorance, out of lack of knowledge. And there's no truer verse in that scripture than the fact that we are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And we're trained and taught and programmed to reject it. Because most of our babies will listen to a rap song or a knucklehead out in the street before they listen to us. Son, don't do that. You're going to hurt yourself. Oh, Pop, you don't know what you're talking about. Man, we got this going on. And that's how it is. So I have to accept it and move forward. Big Papa, were you done?
Yeah, basically. I was just, again, expressing the fact that people are going to do what they're going to do. You follow? They're going to do it. But I really understand you're fighting, and everybody else, we all stumble. These are just stumbles along the way. When you first had the problem, and that's why the issue is sometimes you don't want to let that cat out the bag and take it personal. I mean, take it to a private conversation because you really should have taken it to the private conversation. Yeah, right? You really should have done that. But if I go to your history in terms of the second time that you were stopped, the second time your car was taken, the second time you had to pay for it, you had a choice at the point of paying for it to go through the replevin, right? But you didn't want to do that because it would take longer time, right, than paying. That's a choice. You follow? But if you had made the choice of replevin then you wouldn't have the problem now. You see what I mean? So when you make a choice, accept the consequences of the choice. But the biggest problem is you really didn't believe it. You follow? That you're solid.
So if he'd have paid for the
car the first time, and as we've spoken in the past about writing on a particular check ransom, and then still do his replubbing after he paid for his car because it's
Why would you replubbing if you already got the car back?
You want to get your money back. Because I'm saying you just paid for a ransom. See
Okay.
what I'm saying?
All right, you could replubbing the property called money, yes.
Right.
All right. But, yeah, tell.
There's a law called correspondence. Whatever you put out comes back to you. If you are not ready to handle a situation, you do not put yourself in that situation.
That's the key.
Man,
Absolutely.
they ain't trying to deal with that metaphysics stuff you talking, man.
Yeah.
No, but that's the key.
Get mad. They get mad when you say something about it.
Is the law of correspondence.
Correspondence.
If you are not certain that you can defend your position, then don't put the plates on the car until you're ready. Right. You got to be ready in your mind first. Pardon me?
No, say turn the light on so I can see where I'm
Oh, turn the light up in the back, please. So it really comes down to don't go any further than your knowledge will take you. Don't take calculus if you have not passed Algebra 2. That's really the point. It's not about announcing to them that you're more. Because a choice has to be made about the inconvenience of having your car towed, the inconvenience of being in jail because they locked you up. You're not a punk because you decide to drive at 10 miles an hour because you ain't ready to go at 60. You're not a punk. That's intelligence. You see? But when you drive at 60 and the car runs over, you can't say, the car ain't obeying me. Just recognize you don't have the knowledge.
You're still going to have an accident at 10 miles an hour.
We agree.
I'm just less damage as it was at 60. But I'm trying to somewhat speak up for my brother over there is that
He represents all of us. It really does.
Because like I'm saying, I had that problem too, even though he went out there and demonstrated with his plates, and if he wouldn't have done that, he probably wouldn't find out the whole process. Even though I'm assuming that if in the particular books that he should have read and whatever order he should have read them, I don't know if it would have been from A to Z as far as the process that we had to follow.
I agree and disagree with what you just said. I agree that when you're out there doing it, you're going to learn faster than if you don't get out there doing it. The question is, what do you do? Do you jump do you try to swim by jumping in the Fox River, or do you try to swim by getting accustomed to
We keep the 7 high. We keep the 7 high. Allah's my protector and my guide, and my salvation by the day and by the night. We keep the 7 high. We keep the 7 high. Allah's my protector and my guide, and my salvation by the day and by the night. Through his holy prophet,
Drew Ali is saving, arriving, displaying my fares. The swag's ancient, but modern day part of me like the prison's vacant. Keep the 7 blazing like weed in the pom-pom. Me and Sonny the chief on our dean so we can live long. Text them or make some directions addressing Islam. I bring the vision to your favorite movie or sitcom. The Quran, Drew Ali's prepared me for big cons. Versus West Coast Chucks on the surface. Yes, we worldwide, double